The heat wave in Florida has claimed a victim. It's the Hotel California. No, it's the Wilderness Lodge. They lost air conditioning during some of the hottest days of the year, and they actually were so desperate that they had to send guests to other places. This is by Tom Bricker, and this is still ongoing, by the way. They're still trying to get this fully fixed. It says, with over 24 resorts and 30,000 rooms, something is bound to go wrong at Walt Disney World hotels from time to time. We've done literally hundreds of hotel stays in the last 19 years. And I've had plenty of negative experiences and a few horror stories of our own. This has included construction right outside, blah, blah, blah. Get to it. We love you, Tom, but let's get to it. Wilderness Lodge is also home to the latest Walt Disney World horror story, which beats anything we've experienced firsthand. According to reports on Reddit, Facebook, and more Facebook, and various Disney fan forums, Disney's Wilderness Lodge has been experiencing a multi-day air conditioning outage. The issues began earlier this week with the AC becoming spotty or struggling, and the outage beginning in earnest on Wednesday or Thursday, which, by the way, on Wednesday or Thursday, I believe the heat index was 107 on Wednesday and 112 on Thursday, with, you betcha, 100% humidity. Meanwhile, heat advisories have been in effect at Walt Disney World for the last couple of days. Orange and Osceola counties have been included with heat index values. Well, there you go, 105 and 111. And actual high temps from the mid to upper 90s. According to the aforementioned reports from guests at Wilderness Lodge, the air conditioning is out in the entire main building. The impact is being felt across the resort, including but not limited to guest rooms, the lobby, table service restaurants, and indoor lounges. Now, it says that Whispering Canyon Cafe and Storybook Dining at Artist Point were closed for the day and blocked out advanced dining reservations for Saturday. I don't know if this came back up on Sunday, but I do know that they're still working on this. As of Saturday, guests at Wilderness Lodge started reporting that air conditioning is in the process of being restored. We think that started with guest rooms and then moved on to the main lobby. But here's the deal. When it was this hot, Disney was struggling to find rooms and places they could send these guests to, because that's an entire hotel. They were rushing MJ to try to find, especially guests who have disabilities, who are medically fragile, or who would struggle with this kind of heat. Disney had to get them moved, and it was a real challenge for the staff at Wilderness Lodge to get these people out of there. Because you can imagine, if it's 112 heat index, then even in the shade, it's 100 degrees or more inside these rooms. And that got crazy. We had reports that people were taking cold baths inside their rooms, trying to stay cool enough. God, MJ, this was really, really bad. It makes that monorail story we did where they were evac, breaking in the windows. Yeah. Makes that look like nothing. So MJ, what do you think about this idea that Disney had to quickly relocate and evacuate people from the Wilderness Lodge? At the same time, they're building this massive, building going up right next to it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is here in terms of keeping all the hotels up to date, but it was not okay this time. This was a bad time for the AC to go out.
I'm just wondering how in the world did that even happen? Like people are saying in the chat, maintenance. Hello, where is the maintenance? These AC units have a lifespan of 10, maybe 11 years, but in the Florida heat, everything gets eaten up, right? And we're in a state where things go bad very quickly. Appliances, AC units, even our car vehicle batteries last us a very short lifetime. So I'm just wondering, did they have space at other resorts? They were packed this past week, 2 weeks. They have all these deals going on. So I'm wondering where they should have maybe had given a call to one of the partner hotels over in Disney Springs, because there was a lot of availability over there too. But this is a serious matter. People can pass out from the heat and end up in the hospital. And then you got lawsuits and stuff like that. That's just, forget the refunds, right? That's just half of it. What about people's health and their, like you said, if they're on medication, if they have oxygen tanks that they have to, respiratory issues, all of these come in play, and it's just really scary. I want to know how quickly they moved people and where did they move them to? I wish I had more details on the story.
July of 2023, I can tell you, was the hottest that I have experienced at Walt Disney World. There was a time back in the 90s that was super hot too, but July of 2023, but I was just there during this heat wave. Mm-hmm. And I would say it was the second or third hottest I've ever experienced. I've told people, you get out of the shower, and it was the humidity that I think was so difficult. you would get out of the shower in the morning and you dry off with a towel and you say, well, it didn't do anything because everywhere AC was struggling, both with the heat and with the humidity. And Erika, I noticed that a lot of businesses were unable to keep up, even, you go into a Walgreens or a CVS, or you go to a Target or wherever, and the temperature would be in the 80s because they just simply could not keep up with this level of heat when it's this intense. And it didn't really rain a lot either. So Erika, what do you think about, I guess, the overall need for Disney to improve their air conditioning and climate? I can tell you, I watched a lot of people struggling in the parking lots where the temperatures were getting into that 112 range on the blacktop. And there's just not enough covering. There's just not enough other options for people when heat waves like this hit.
I'd be calling my travel agent. I'd be calling Disney. I would be changing my hotels. I would be doing some serious, and I would be raising all kinds of havoc.
Havoc, you say? Havoc, you say?
That's just mean. I would raise all kinds of hell.
Sure.
Until they accommodated me and our family. We cannot be in heat like that. We lived through it in Germany, and we had air conditioning units to evade the heat because there's no air conditioning in that country, and it gets just as hot there as it does in Florida.
So now wait a minute. You brought in AC. What did the Germans think about you having AC when they have none? What do they think about that?
Some of them are kind of like, ugh, it's not needed. A lot of them have this ideology throughout their culture that they think you get sick from air conditioning because they see it as recycled air. And their ideology is, it gets into my spores and I get sick. And it's the most ridiculous thing ever. They don't understand that the technology we have in air conditioning is that it actually cleans and purifies the air.
Sure.
And you're breathing in about 80% clean air with a good air conditioner. But anyway, that's another thing. But no, I would have been raising hell. And
maybe Disney's German these days.
I would be staying somewhere else. I'm over here kind of laughing because I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I lived in a climate where, but not in an all year climate where it's all year round, like, warm like this.
And you will be moved to the contemporary on very hastily. German Mickey Mouse. All right, Ron, what are the procedures in place as a guy who's worked for the House of Mouse? What are the procedures when something like this happens? You can have pipes burst. You can have all kinds of things like that. And by the way, Florida, there are a few days of the year where it could be cold and you would have this kind of a situation. We saw that in the winter. What do you think is the procedure they try to go through on who they decide to evacuate first? Because they got to decide based on health. You would think this guest needs to go to a different room and get a different hotel. You would think, like the elderly that are trying to stay at Disney and enjoy a summer with the grandkids, they got to be the first ones. Is there a procedure like that in place, Ron, or how does it go? How does it work?
I don't know exactly what the procedure would be because that's not an area where I've worked at in Disney. But what I don't understand is how they there's an easy backup system. There's an easy answer for a backup system for this. And the reason I know this is because it's the most frequent ad I get on my YouTube. This what is it? NASA engineered size of a toaster air conditioner.
No, those things are crap.
I'm kidding.
I'm gonna say at 112 degrees with 100% humidity, Ron, good luck with that little thing.
Yeah, it cools down your room in 30 degrees in 90 seconds. No, anyway.
Yeah.
Anyhow. No, it's I can't believe this happened. So my wife and I family actually stayed for her 50th birthday at the Wilderness Lodge, and it was probably the single best experience that I've ever had at a Disney Resort Hotel. Wilderness Lodge, obviously, when things are working the way they're supposed to, it's a beautiful property. We had the storybook dining with Snow White. That was amazing. The food was fantastic. The service was great. Everything was great. So it's really, in my opinion, very tragic for this to happen at Wilderness Lodge. What I'm most concerned about is the fact that something like this with Florida heat is foreseeable, meaning that if they have maintenance staffed up to where it should be staffed up to, if everybody's staffed the way they should be, somebody somewhere should have been able to detect that this was coming, or they should have backup systems in place in case something like this happens. I mean, I've heard, I've seen a lot online that this has been going on for 4 days, that it's not completely solved yet, that they may, I don't even know if they know the heart of the issue. But at Wilderness Lodge, especially, I mean, at any of the deluxe resorts, especially, it's crazy that this would happen. I mean, people are paying. I think that, like, I was lucky. We got, I was a cast member at that time, and I got a 50% off discount to stay at the I think it was a 1-bedroom, and at full price, I believe it would have been $900 or $1,000 a night. And I know that that's what people are paying for. And some people might be getting, 20% discount or whatever. But of course, that was years ago. So now the rooms are more expensive. It's crazy. Like it's absolutely nuts. Florida heat is not new to Florida. Like, yes, it might be 112 degrees heat index. Yes, it might be 100% humidity. It's not a new thing. This has happened every year of the 50 some odd years that Disney World has been open. There is no reason not to be prepared for this, especially at your flagship resort of the world for the Disney company that is supposed to be. Disney is supposed to be the best of the best of the best at doing this. Like, they're the people that survive the Men in Black test, the best of the best of the best, right? And so what's just bizarre to me is this is stacked on top of so many issues that we've seen over the last few years. I just can't believe Disney hasn't got their stuff together on this. They've had lampposts fall on guests. They've had ceilings fall on guests. Now you have a ferry boat that puts 19 people in the hospital. You have, I mean, over and over and over. These things stack on top of each other. And now this is affecting, is it hundreds of guests, thousands of guests?
I wanted to know how many. Yeah. Like how many, I wonder how many people were there over that period of time. It's disturbing, actually, thinking about it. Can you imagine evacuating buses and buses full of people out of there and relocating them? That's
talk about a ruined Father's Day. I thought my barbecue thing was bad.
Let me tell you, if my hotel room is 100 degrees, you're going to see me at Typhoon Lagoon real fast. By the way, I made a promise and I'm going to cover it. I was requested. We had some reporters at Disney who they were staying at Magic Kingdom that day, and they were waiting for the trams at the parking lot. And one of the trams broke down, and they were stranded waiting for a tram for 30 minutes with no shade, with no cover. And they said that they registered temperatures in the parking lot of 117.
Oh my gosh.
117, because you're on that concrete, you're on that blacktop, right? And they said 30 minutes and no cover. So Disney, I know you're watching, I know you're listening. Put some shade up. Come on. Put the little triangles up, do the little covers. You got to fix this, because it's just this. It's as awful, on the few days when it's cold and it's raining in January, February. That's just as awful to sit out there in the cold rain. Put up some shade, put up some awning, put up some covers. Good grief.
Yeah. If they covered that parking lot like a parking garage, I'd gladly pay. Hey, I'd pay preferred parking.
Well, we've said many times that if they wanted to actually care about solar energy, they could put up solar panels over the parking spaces, and then your car would be in the shade the whole day too, and that would be great. That would be great, eh? So
doesn't Epic have that, or am I crazy?
Epic does have that for a small portion of the parking lot. Mm-hmm. Come on, Disney, do it. Let's do it. Let's go.
It was measuring attendance at Disney World on July 4th, which didn't really factor in temperature, which was about 100 degrees and 99% humidity on that day.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.